Hello there, YouTubers. Welcome to this educational video. What we'll be doing here is that we're gonna conduct a simple man-in-the-middle attack. What we'll be doing is tricking the router to thinking that this computer is the client, and we'll be tricking our victim to thinking that this computer is the router. Now, what we'll need to do first is simply launch the terminal. I know my root password, so I'll be using SU to switch to root account. But if you can do this by typing sudo. So for this, I'll be using SU. You must use sudo for this to work. Okay, so what will be before you begin doing that is that we need to make our computer to think that to make the traffic flowing. Sorry for the hiccups on the video. This is my first time doing this video. So we need to forward the traffic from the client to the router and from the router to the client. For this, to do that, simply type echo 1 and you should save it to the pros sys net IPv4 IP forward. Now, what Linux distribution am I using? It's Linux Mint. I'll be using Linux Mint to conduct this attack. You can use Kali Linux. It's practically doesn't matter, except that Kali Linux has those tools already, and Linux Mint doesn't. So for this to work, I need some applications. Now I'm gonna type apt get install. I need dsniff. We'll be using ARP spoof command to make our router think that my computer is the client, and we'll be tricking the client to thinking that this computer is the router. So for ARP spoof command to appear, you need to have dsniff installed. Next, what we'll need is driftnet. What does driftnet do? It simply captures the images that are flowing through the network. That means that it'll capture the images that are coming from the router. And of course, the final application that I'm gonna need is Nmap. For Nmap, it is a port scanner, but we'll be using it to scan what hosts are up on our network. One thing, you cannot perform man-in-the-middle attack on the remote computer. For this to do that, you have to get a job and internet provider services. You need to either get hired by the internet service providers, or you must use your own networks. So since I'm using a router, all the devices that are connected to my router are in my network. So okay, we'll be installing these three applications. Okay, applications are installed. Now we'll be needing our interface name and IP address. We'll only need IP address once, So to check this all out, type in ifconfig. Here's the network adapter. We'll need this to use for all of our attacks. And we'll only need to use IP address once for nmap. Okay, now let's type in nmap minus sn 192 168 193 103. Whoops, I forgot to put in the /24. Now we're scanning the network, and we only see 2 hosts. Okay, so I'm gonna turn on my tablet. I won't check its IP address. Okay, let's scan it again. I don't know my router's IP address, and I don't know the IP address of my tablet. My tablet will be the client. Okay. So as you can see here, this is an IP address of my router. How do I know that? Simply read nmap scan report for 192.168.93.104 local balticom.lt. IP address, host is up, MAC address don't need that, and here we've got the name of our tablet. Next what we'll be checking is this TP-Link. This is our router's IP address. Okay, so now what we should do is simply type in ARP spoof. Now we'll need our interface, our network interface. Now this is a network interface that I'll be using. It might be different on your computer, but in my computer it's this. Okay, so for this ENP0 NP1S0. Now we need the target. Now what is ARP? ARP is short for Address Reservation Protocol. Now our router assigns IP address by the MAC address, and now since I'm gonna be spoofing my tablet's IP, my tablet will think that my computer is a router, while my computer is just a hacker. So this is the target, and now the destination: 192.168.93.250. Okay, now it's spoofing, and now my tablet thinks that my computer is the router, and my computer will be relaying traffic from my tablet to my router. Okay, we'll need another terminal window, since we'll need to trick to figure that my computer is the client. So for this to work, I'll be using ARP spoof again, and I'll be typing in NP1S0 minus T. Now the target is my router, and the destination is my tablet. Whoa, 93. 104. Okay, now both address reservation protocols are spoofed from my router and my tablet. Now my router thinks that this computer is the client, while in here the tablet will be thinking that my computer is the router. Okay, so now we need a new terminal window. We'll be capturing what images are coming from the internet. Now as you can see, I'm in a root account again. Now I'll be typing drift net -i. I is short for interface. enp1 as 0. And here we go, we've got our DriftNet window. I'll maximize it to capture all the traffic. I mean, to capture all the images that are coming from the internet. And the last part we'll be checking what addresses is my tablet visiting. So let's try this. Whoa, URL snarf -i enp1 as 0. Okay, now we're all set up. Let's see what we got. Now I will be using Google. As you can see, it's already capturing what traffic am I going through. Okay, and here we go. The DriftNet picked up all the images from what came through our router, and we already have URL snarf to fetch what addresses we have visited. Okay, now I'm just gonna type in Linux Mint images and you can see we already have a lot of images here. Now let's try to visit this address. Open link. Here we go. We saw that my tablet has connected to this URL, and now we can actually see where it's browsing. In Linux Mint, you simply click on this, right click, and we paste open link. Since I don't want to download anything, I'm gonna simply cancel that. This is how you do a simple man-in-the-middle attack. As you can see, I can select any image on my tablet. And I'm looking at exactly the same images that I just selected. Now I'm gonna press open this page, and let's see if Where have we picked up? Get client, Google, Google. Google, gstatic, gstatic. And here you go. I can actually see what URLs are being browsed. I can actually see what images are coming from the internet to my tablet. And that's all. Well, that's enough for that. If you want to restore everything to default, simply type in Ctrl+C on URL snarf, close the terminal, exit, exit. Close the DriftNet is by pressing Ctrl+C, and now we're closing this tab, exit, exit. Stop fooling our destination is the tablet, exit, exit. Now we'll stop fooling our client to thinking that this computer is the router. Okay, you should remove the applications. I'll always type apt get purge. Now nmap, driftnet, and dsniff. Okay, I'll be pressing Y. Now to stop IP forwarding, to forward all of the traffic from the computer into the router, now we'll simply type in echo 0 to prods sys net IPv4 IP forward, and simply exit. It's easy to do a man-in-the-middle attack, but you will need the right tools. Now, man-in-the-middle is when an attacker gets inside the network, fools the client into thinking that the attacker's computer is a router, and it fools the router into thinking that this computer is the client. Now, and this is how the traffic flows through the attacker's computer, and the attacker can intercept what's going on. He can do surveillance. He can actually hack the SSL, and how does it do that? It's simple. The server sends its public key to the client to get for the client to encode the information it is about to send to the server. The hacker uses this public key to the client uses the public key to encrypt what he wants to send. The client sends it to the server. The server decodes the data and access. For example, you log in to Facebook. Since Facebook is using SSL, you're about to sorry, this is my first time doing this video. So the client encrypts the login data, sends it to Facebook, Facebook decrypts and lets the user log in. Now if it's just a normal procedure. Now if we're in the middle, we want to get the data, the login data of the Facebook, we simply do that. The Facebook sends the public key to the attacker. The attacker sends its own public key. The client believes that this is Facebook's private key. I mean public key. The unknown victim encrypts with the attacker's public key. Attacker gets the public key. Public key, the encrypted data, which the attacker sends its own public key. The attacker decrypts it, encrypts it with the Facebook's public key, and sends to the Facebook. The Facebook decodes and sends data, and through this data the attacker can actually alter what data should be visible to the victim. The victim then gets the data that the man in the middle sends, and for example we can simply type 404 and the victim will get this web page is not found. I'll be showing you how to perform sorry, I won't be showing you how to perform advanced man-in-the-middle attack. You should do that by your own, but I will tell you what application you should use to actually perform a more powerful man-in-the-middle attack. Just simply install MITM proxy. With this you can intercept a requests and responses, and you can send custom request and you can send custom response. Well, that's it. This is how you perform a simple man-in-the-middle attack. Good luck in hacking!